Today's date is 12th of August, 2006. Today I'm interviewing
Alain, Saunders.
and we are in Utica Hall in Lancaster, Ohio. This interview is for the African American presence in Ohio River Valley Oral History Department. Could you spell your name, Alain?
Sure. It's Alain, and it's Saunders, Saunders.
How's it on? Okay. My voice is soft too.
I've heard that more than once.
Radio voice, that's what you DJ.
That's my fault. Mine. I'm sorry. That name.
Yeah, have you had any turners off?
I think so. Tell me my family.
Steven. Is your Uncle Evan around there somewhere?
Would you look through the finance on
Did you say Latin?
I'm sorry.
Did you say Latin? This last name? Evan Latin?
Evan. No, Evan Saunders. He's my brother. I probably said Uncle Evan.
Are you connected to Latin music?
No.
Just reaching in.
Yeah, I know.
Let the man tell his story. He knows what
She
he's
has.
ready to do.
She already took it back there.
Well, I think somebody heard about this reunion from the Lett family reunion.
Good. You have 3 minutes.
I was trying to put the fear in. Obviously, it didn't work.
What are we waiting on?
Okay, so can you, when I ask you a question, can you kind of restate it, your answer, because we're going to cut us out. So if I say something like, my first question will be about your mother, who were your parents? You say my parents were, are, say from the beginning, so just saying their names.
Okay.
So we have a reference to it.
Who I'm speaking about?
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about where you grew up and who your parents were, and a little bit about your background?
Okay. I grew up in Lancaster, Ohio. My father was or is from Lancaster. I was born and raised actually on the same street that my parents still live at. So I grew up in the same house. My parents have lived there over, I think, 54 years. So, graduated from Lancaster High School in 1977. I have 7 brothers and 2 sisters.
Can you tell us the name of your siblings?
Sure.
Oldest to youngest.
The firstborn, oldest, is Kenneth Jr. Then my brother Lawrence, and then Holly, and then another brother Robert, and then myself, number 5 in the middle. Then I have a brother Anthony, Kevin, and then sister Valerie, and then a brother Evan.
And where were your parents from? What area were your parents? Your mother and then your father?
My father is actually from Lancaster. My mother is from Nelsonville, between Nelsonville and Logan, in that area. Carbon Hill, down in that area.
What's your mother's maiden name? Your mother's name?
My mother's name is Alice Mae Evans. So her parents, her mother was from Chauncey, the Plains. Her maiden, or her name, my grandmother's name is Grace May Topsail. She married George Evans.
And you said they're also connected with the Thomas Woodson line.
grandmother's side of the family, she is a Chapman. I believe on her father's side. It goes into Chapman, that goes into the Woodsons, and on and on and on.
And what's the connection you said to the Gallup area with your mother?
That would be with my mother's father. My mother's father is from down in Gallup Bliss, Bidwell, Porter, down in that area. I'm not sure can't go too far back on him. I know that his mother was an orphan, and his father was an Evans, and his father passed away, or no, his mother passed away. He remarried, and then he passed away and she remarried. So there's like 3 sets of children in that family, and they all go by the name Evans. So
What was your grandfather's name?
George Marcus Evans was my grandfather.
Do you stories you hear about your mother growing up? Any of the stories? What kind of things was she like?
My mother is the youngest of 7, and she was the brat, is what I've heard. Probably shouldn't say that, but her older siblings said that she was spoiled, and they lived on a farm, so everybody had to work, but my mother would get out of doing a lot of work. She said she stayed in the house and helped her mother, so she wasn't out in the field like they were. She was, I would say, probably very independent, but yet stayed close to home. She never put up with anything that people would try to make her do. That she felt, if she felt it was wrong, there was no way she would do it. She's still like that. So she's kind of a fighter.
How did your parents meet? When did she end up moving?
My mother's sister, Mabel, she married a Frank Stewart, who was actually from Lancaster, and she would come up on weekends with her, and my father lived across the street, and it was actually my aunt's, her sister's sister-in-law that wanted to introduce him. So Frank Stewart. There's a lot of stories.
Can you tell us about a little bit about yourself? You have children, married?
Not married, never been. I have no children, although I have many nieces and nephews who sometimes think that I am their father.
How did you first become interested in your family history? What first inspired you to research?
My father's mother was the youngest, and she had sisters, maybe 8 sisters, that when they all got together, you could just hear them cackling, laughing and telling stories, and I just loved it. So I would be hiding underneath the table, peeking around the door, just listening to it. And most of my father's family, all the women passed away pretty young, so I was pretty young, and just the memory of them having so much fun is just something that's in me. So I like to keep it going, you know. Brings back good memories, so that's how I really got started.
Have you, what's some of the stories that you found about your family that you think were the most interesting to you, or you remember as a child kind of?
Good tell you the story. My aunt Emma, which is right above my grandmother, she had a dog that they had to put down because it was real sick. Back then, I guess it was probably in the 30s, made like what we would call a fire pit, and they put a seal on it, and she got something from a doctor, I don't know, chloroform or whatever, to put it to sleep. So she put it in, and of course the kids were all crying and screaming because they knew what was going to happen. So the next morning she got up early to try to get the dog out and bury it before they got up. Well, when she opened up the lid, the dog jumped up. And the dog lived for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years, they said, after that. No problems. So that was like one of my favorite stories. Boots. So it's one of my questions on my newsletter. I do a newsletter, family newsletter, so it's one of my favorite questions to see if anybody knew who Boots was.
What is your connection to the family reunion? Since you were talking about the newsletter, are you the one that keeps this going? How does that work?
I was voted president maybe 10 years ago. So I was very close to, she's actually my dad's first cousin. Her name is Dolores Carlisle. And she was real into keeping the family together, having reunions. And she passed away in '99. So ever since then, it's like my drive. You know, this is what Aunt Dolores would want. So
What kind of attendance have you been having?
sometimes we have good, and sometimes it's. I think the most that we've ever had was close to 200 and some. And because we have it for 3 days, for the whole weekend, you'll get some on Friday that you won't get on Saturday. You get some on Saturday that you won't get on Friday. Then you'll get different ones come church on Sunday that doesn't make it for any other time. So it's kind of spread out. From all over. The main part is from Akron, Cleveland area, from Lancaster. Then we have family members that are spread out to California, South Carolina. So it's not every year that they make it in, but every couple of years we get a bunch that come from out of state. So
What's your connection to Hopkins, Hooper, and why both of them?
Hooper Hawkins, Emma, her main name was Woods, is the mother of everybody. She was married twice. Her first husband was James Hooper, and they had 5 children. He passed away. She remarried my grandfather, George Alonzo Hawkins. They had 5 children. So we just combine it, Hooper Hawkins. That way we don't leave anybody out. So,
And on which side of the family is Hopkins?
Hooper Hawkins is my father's. I am Emma and George Hawkins, Hooper Hawkins, great-grandson. So I would be the third generation.
And they live here in Lancaster. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
George Hawkins, as far as I know, was born and raised in this area, Fairfield County. Emma, I'm not sure if she actually came from Canada. As far back as I can go, she was from Chillicothe. And she became pregnant by a farm worker's son, or she was sent to work on a farm. And she became pregnant by the owner's son, and they sent her away to have the baby. And they actually sent her to Lancaster, to what was then the old folks' home. And as far as I know, she was between 14 and 16 when she became pregnant with her first child. James Hooper seen her and smitten with her. He got her out of the old folks' home and married her. And then they had 5 children. And he passed away.
What's my
I can look on my thing. 18. She passed away, and my father is 4, so I think she passed away in 29.
Do you know the name of the farm or the farm and where she became?
that was one of those
Hush, hush.
kept those skeletons in the closet type of thing.
Can you tell me about like what were their backgrounds? Like how did they identify? Do you know anything about that? In terms of like researching those families.
I know that my great grandmother, Emma, was French Canadian, or her mother was French Canadian. Her father, as far as I know, was black. I don't know if he was. I've heard that he might be half Indian, so like a Blackfoot Indian or something. I'm not sure about that. I know that his name was James Woods, and that he was from Chillicothe, and that's as far as I've gotten. So, and then George Hawkins was, as far as I know, part Indian and part black. So, and I'm not sure how much. I'm hoping to find out today a lot. And pick my dad's brain. Hopefully some of his cousins will, know a little bit more. His mother was the baby. So the older ones, which are from Akron, they actually moved to Akron to work at the Goodyear plant. They had a little more history, I think. So some of the older cousins, from me, would know. So I'm hoping.
What would be some family members, some names of some family members we probably should talk to also to get some.
Let's see. I'm afraid she's not going to be here, but Dept Bird would be a good one. She actually has our great-grandmother's Bible, had a list of names of children and years and things. So she would be a good one. Dodie Jones, her name is actually Theodosia. She is named after her grandmother. She might know a little. She might know a little bit. So her family, the Bird side of the family, is actually from Circleville, on that St. Mary. So, on my father's side, let's see, there's George Saunders, his brother, will be here today. Stanley and Joe. They are probably the last surviving grandchildren of Emma and George.
How you doing, Jody? I'm good, dear. I am good.
And I know they will
I
be
see
here
your
today.
mother somewhere. I don't know where I see her.
My father is the second oldest of the grandchildren. So.
I saw her at the store one
We
time.
have some artifacts here, some of the pictures that show us.
Yeah, well, that working man's friend? Yeah.
Hooper Hawkins, my great-grandmother,
Try to get your attention.
and this is my great-grandfather, George Long Hawkins. He was actually the one that is from Lancaster.
It was dark. Yeah. You know,
So.
she doesn't put anything on it.
This is the beginning of as far back as we can go. So I brought extra pictures to bring out, and hopefully people are going to want them, pass them around. I have my aunt passed away, and a lot of her pictures, and I known it was going to get just, just whoever I would have probably went upstairs when she asked me to go through boxes, and I never knew it would get like this. So, of course, at the time I didn't want to hear it. But this picture is my grandmother right here, Minnie Saunders, and two of her sisters that I knew right away. It's her sister Theodosia and Emma. And this is actually on the Broad Street, Columbus Street, what is now Columbus Street, Broad Street in Lancaster. They had a farm. And so these are all cousins. Most of them are Hawkins, some are Carlisles. But and everybody in this picture has actually passed away. I think the youngest one right here passed away probably about 6 years ago. His name was Paul Hawkins. So everybody has seen this picture really for the first time today. Some of them are. They're like, who's that? And it's really kind of nice to look at it and see how much they actually look like their grandchildren. My grandmother looks just like my sister. So, and this is Emma Hawkins Carlisle. She would have been 100 years old this year. So this was my postcard that I sent out to everybody to kind of get them geared up for the reunion. So there's a lot of Carlisles running around here today. Be her children and grandchildren. In fact, Joe and Stanley are her two sons, surviving sons.
You mentioned that some of your family that came from Canada, that your grandmother tried to encourage her to come back to Canada. Did you elaborate a little bit on that?
The story that I remember hearing, and this is peeking behind a door, that my grandmother's mother was white and she was French Canadian, and Emma Woods, and that her sisters had actually came to Ohio to talk her into going back to Canada with them. And she had been here for a while and probably was a little bitter about it and refused to go back with them. So that's the only time we've ever heard of her having any sisters or anything. So I don't even know her mother's name. Woods I know is her father, so I don't know what her mother's name was. So
She never told you how she got here from Canada?
I never heard anybody saying it. Now, there's different family stories that have gone around that her daughters would actually, keep that quiet, and you don't want to let that out of the closet. So there's different stories going around that I'm not really sure, and I'm afraid to say it because I don't want it to be, just somebody saying some mean gossip about it. So as far back as I can go with that.
Do you know anything about how on your mother's side the family came to Ohio?
I know that her father was from maybe from West Virginia area, but I believe they were centered around Gallipolis and Bidwell, Porter, in that area, Rio Grande. I know that they had a lot of property down there at one time. He had a brother that actually lived down there after he moved further up. And digging through the history through my grandmother's side, which is Topsail, Norman, that they actually came to, I think it was West Virginia, and then they were having troubles taking people back to slavery, and so they came across to Cincinnati and then up. But I haven't really got into it enough to really pinpoint who it was. So Virginia seems to be a focal point.
You mentioned that your grandmother, I think, in Lancaster here had lost some land for a crooked attorney. Could you share that story with us?
Now, the story goes that James Hooper was pretty well off for the time, where he had a lot of land, and the land was what is now Columbus Street, Broad Street. There's kind of an intersection there. It was in that corridor, and when he passed away, my great-grandmother Emma couldn't read or write, and an attorney came with papers by the name of Smith. I don't know what his first name was, and he had her sign her X, and once she signed the X, the property and everything was taken away from her. She lost everything. So that was the story of how they had a lot of money and was pretty well off, and after that it was just.
Do you know how they came into having that land?
I think it was from Mr. Hooper, but I'm not sure how he got it. And that's the part of the family that were way older. My grandmother being the youngest was born in 1908. So they were in the 1800s. So I'm not sure how they got the land, if it was left to them. I just know it was a lot of land for back in that time.
The two families were in Gallup. It was
Norman, Evans.
Okay, and Evans. How were they connected?
My mother's father, my grandfather, George Evans, and his mother was America Norman. And that's pretty much as far back as I can go. There might be a Miller in there, and I'm not sure. My mother's heard different names, and she's trying to figure out how we actually connect in there. So.
Is there anything in the database that you think might be?
I can go back as far as I can. I have stopped this.
While you're doing that, is there anything that you would like to add to this information that's being recorded?
I'm sure there's a lot of stories that I'll think about. Oh, I wish I would have told that one.
Later in the day.
Make sure my father, when his grandmother passed away, he was pretty small, 3, I believe. And they had the casket actually in their living room. And they were running all over looking for him. Couldn't find him. And my grandmother, his mother, screamed. And they all come running, and he had crawled up into the casket and went to sleep. So that was a pretty good story. See, if we go into David Evans and America Norma would be my great-grandparents. And we know that David Evans' mother's name was Phoebe, and that we don't have a last name or anything for that. So I can't go any further with the Evans. But with the Norman, we can go back to her parents, were Henry Norman and Sarah Gomer Renfield. That was in 1844 that she was born, and she passed away in 1906, West Virginia. She's from West Virginia. Then I can go back on both of their parents. So there's a Carey, another Gomer, and a Pritchard. He comes all the way to 1797. So that's as far back as I can go, and I don't have any other history on it or any stories.
And then on the other side, you said those names are names that we would come up with.
Have you?
Yeah. I'm not sure
Which-
picture, but
The Rumfield or
yeah.
so, and then a Cole, Alberta Cole. It must be his parents, and Whelan. So, and they sit around North Carolina. I noticed that too. That side of the family seems to be from North Carolina, South Carolina. But can't find any other information. Just the birth year and death year. So.
Okay. I think that's it. Well, and I'll maybe catch up with you later if you have something else. But
Okay.
this is great. I think a lot of these family entertainments we're finding out
Really?
in that area, Cook Patch and things. We'll have to catch up with you later about that.
Okay.
I think they are connected. But it's probably painful to hear, unfortunately, down there. But that'd be interesting.
My mother would love to hear that.
Yeah. Can you let us know if you see your parents? So we
Yeah, they're here.
can- Oh, they are here.
Uh-huh. My father is in a wheelchair, and my mother has her finger up to her mouth. She's kind of got her back to you. She's got all the blue stripe. They both have their backs to you, so.
We'll catch up with them. Maybe one of them.
Yeah, I'll definitely.
That's
I hope somebody